Hey everybody, this is going to be the pathway of blood through the heart to the lungs into the coronary arteries. Let's get started. Alright, we're going to start with number 1, the superior and inferior vena cava. Over here on the heart, this is the superior and this is the inferior, and this is where blood comes in. Alright, now let's move on to the right atrium, which is this right here. You can see the inside. And blood is going to come in here and fill up this atrium. Alright, now the blood is going to flow through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. So over here on the heart, this is the tricuspid valve, and it goes straight into the ventricle. Next, the blood is going to flow through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary trunk and arteries. So here's the pulmonary valve up here. And then this large part is the pulmonary trunk, and it branches into pulmonary artery here and one back here as well. Next is going to flow into the arterial capillary venules in the lungs, but you can't see the lungs in our model, so we're going to bring in another one. Okay, so you can see here, these light blue streaks are the pulmonary arterioles, and they're pressed into the lung tissue, which contains alveoli, which then oxygenates the blood. So once the blood is oxygenated, we have these red streaks, which are the pulmonary venules, which then come back to this larger red chunk, which is the pulmonary veins. And if we come back over here to our heart model, they can come back into the heart right here. All right, now the blood is going to be flowing back through the heart. So we're going to start with the left atrium. The blood comes through the pulmonary veins, and then it comes into the left atrium here, and then through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle. All right, now the blood is in the left ventricle, and it's going to flow through the aortic valve to the base of the aorta. So we're in the left ventricle, and all the way tucked behind here, labeled 45, is the aortic valve, and then it's going to come up to the base of the aorta right here. Alright, then from the base of the aorta, it's going to branch off into 2 coronary arteries, left and right, and the coronary arteries are going to provide the actual tissue of the heart with oxygen. So in this model, you can't really see the left coronary artery as well, but this is the right coronary artery running off here. And then we have another model over here that shows the branching of the 2. This would be the left coronary artery, and this would be the right. All right, and then the left coronary artery is going to split into 2 other arteries. Here's the left coronary artery, and then we can see the split, and it comes down into the anterior interventricular artery, and then it's going to come around here to the left circumflex. And then the right coronary artery also splits off into 2 arteries. So here we can see the right coronary artery, and it's going to come all the way down and branch off right here into the right marginal artery. And then it's going to continue around back to the posterior interventricular artery. All right, so if we follow the right coronary artery all the way down, it's going to branch off right here into the posterior interventricular artery. All right, and then these 2 arteries are going to have arterioles, capillaries, and venules that will kind of connect them to the great cardiac vein. So we'll show you on the heart over here. Whoops. So this red here is the anterior interventricular, and you can see here that it's squished up right next to the great cardiac vein. And that's going to run all the way around here, and it's also going to connect to the left circumflex right here, this red, and then it's going to travel all the way along until you see this little 6. This is where it's going to stop, and it's going to connect to the coronary sinus right here. Alright, and then we're going to hop over to the right side, and it's kind of the same setup with the right marginal artery and the posterior interventricular artery. So we're going to come over to the heart. Here we have the right marginal artery right here, and it's going to kind of cross over with arterioles, capillaries, and venules over to the small cardiac vein. And it's going to run down here. And then we're going to pause for a second. It's going to come into the coronary sinus. But down here, we have the posterior interventricular artery. And it's going to connect via arterioles, capillaries, and venules to the middle cardiac vein, which is also going to come back over here to the coronary sinus. All right, now all of the veins have come to the coronary sinus. And this coronary sinus is going to end up leading back into the right atrium. So I'll show you here on the heart. See this little red dot right here? That's the opening of the coronary sinus into the right atrium. And don't be confusing it with the vena cava, superior and inferior. It's just this small little dot. And then we're right back to the beginning, and the blood is going to flow through all of this every heartbeat. All right, this has been the flow of blood through the heart to the lungs, to the coronary arteries, and back into the heart.